Hello and welcome to today's show, everybody. I'm your host, Jack Canfield, and with me today is the international best-selling author, possibility coach, and founder of You Too Shine, Victoria Rader, who is here to talk about her most recent book, Prosper Me, the 35 Universal Laws to Make Money Work for You. Welcome to the show, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Jack. So excited to be here.
So I'd like to start by talking about the title of your book, Prosper Me. I understand the word prosper, but in your title, you spell me with a small m and a large capital E. That's unusual. Explain that.
Yeah, Jack, I just felt that way. I felt like my title for the longest period of my life. I looked at legends like yourself and incredibly successful people globally, and I always thought it's great for them and it's possible for them. But for me, growing up in the Soviet Union, it's not possible for me. So I was that little M of, worrying about money, of worrying about material things, of not seeing the possibility. And so why M, why E? I want to share this 1-minute story that changed everything for me.
Sure.
And the story is in 1400s, where there is this Italian sculptor, Donatello, who is commissioned to carve a sculpture and is given a huge globe of marble. He studies that marble and, he says too many veins, cracks, faulty marble. Just remember that, faulty marble. So he refuses to work with it. Several months later, another Italian sculptor that we know as Michelangelo, out of that faulty marble, carves the statue of David, which arguably is the greatest statue of the Western world. It still stands in Florence 500 years later. And so when Michelangelo is asked, how could you carve this statue out of this faulty marble? He says, I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I set him free. That story is a point of awakening for me. All of a sudden I said, wait a minute, I'm just suffocated by marble, how to make my payments, how to heat up my apartment in Kiev, which is, has no heat. And so I'm sitting by the oven in a cold winter, how to feed my kid who's wearing consignment clothes, while thinking McDonald's is a fancy restaurant. And the only way to do that was to connect past all the material, mortal matter that I am to the eternal, essential essence of who I am as a divine being. And so that has become the journey of little m, surrendering to the great essence that we are, the big E. And so my purpose is that we all know that we were born to prosper.
I love it. I love it. Well, I've seen the David live in Florence. It's an amazing sculpture, and that story is wonderful. And I love the idea of the small m for mortal matter, surrendering to the E essence. I love it. So you've written this book, 35 Universal Laws are in it. What are you hoping for your book to achieve?
My greatest hope and the passion and a desire is that while unfortunately my faith is not big enough to believe that everybody is born to be a billionaire or maybe even a millionaire, one thing I know, every human being was born to prosper. No questions asked. Every single human being is born with the unique skills, talents, and capacity to prosper within their area of life. And so the book is meant to reawaken that knowing, bring the awareness that, wait a minute, I am born to prosper, and then give the steps of alignment with that awareness. I am born to prosper. How? Align with the house. And then take the next step of, and these are the actions you take. Because I believe when we are aware and aligned and we take action, we live a life of abundance. And so it's my desire that everybody who has this book prospers.
That's beautiful. Now, in your book, you cover these 35 universal laws that when you work in concert with them will help you create a prosperous and fulfilling life, as you just said. But you also precede that with 3 levels of what you call empowerment. Let's talk about those levels of empowerment.
Yeah, and we'll play with a little bit of letters, right? So if your head is spinning, I was not a good speller, you're right with me. I'm going to talk about little m, little e, powerless me, poor me, pity me, me. Life happens to me. life happens to me. This is me sitting there pouting, thinking, if only I were born somewhere else. If only I were a man, because being accepted to this school of choice meant you had to be a man. No women allowed in the international department in the year that I applied, right? Poor me, poor me. That is that lack of power, powerless me. Life happens to me. And then all of a sudden you say, wait a minute, it happened to me because it was happening for me. What have I learned in it? What have I learned in this experience? And that is the point of empowerment, of going to power hunger, when you say, everything that I thought was happening to me was in reality happening for me. And of course, the thin line there is that as we step into our power and we start learning lessons and we start going after goals and achieving, if we do not go to the next level, which is empowerment, we will stay power hungry. And a lot of my clients who made millions of dollars came to me being power hungry. No matter how much I have, I feel empty inside. So from powerless me, life happens to me, to power hungry me, life happens for me, to the most important premise that I believe this book accomplishes: empowered me, life happens through me. I am the instrument of life. And by learning and applying these laws, I can be a perfected, not perfect, a perfected instrument of eternal essence that I've come to be and prosper.
Very good. Well, I love your book. There's so many good things in it in terms of understanding that a lot of people don't. And I think a lot of people have probably heard about the law of attraction because of the movie The Secret and things like that. Can you share another law that you call universal that your book covers?
Yes, I think what I'd love to talk about is two quick laws if we have time for them. The first one is the law of growth. And I think the law of growth is very, very important because Zig Ziglar said things are either growing or they're dying. There's nothing in between. And I just have come to believe that strongly. So with either growing or we're dying, and it is true of our relationships, it is true of our finances. So the law of growth is very important. And throughout the years of working with the clients, I have come to understand that there is a success formula for growth. And that is when you take your mindset, you multiply it by your skill set, you multiply it by your effort. And that's what causes the results of either dying or growing. And because I'm a person of faith and I'm a spiritual person, I like to add God to the left side of the equation. So I have mindset, skill set, effort times God. And then the results are infinite. Even if I don't know what they are, I know they're infinite. And so the mindset is the combination of your thought patterns and the emotions that you charge those patterns with. The skill set is very different. It is the practical knowledge of being able to apply that mindset. And of course, the effort is, as I say, get off the pillow. Meditation is great. It's the mindset. Get off the pillow so you can learn the skill set and take the action steps. And that's the effort. So the law of growth to me is very important because in the formula and the math, if something is a zero, then the product will be a zero. So if your mindset is a zero, and you have a great skill set, you have 9 degrees, and you're working real hard to put the effort in. But if your mindset is no matter what I do, I'm broke, your results are to zero. The same applies for the skill set. You can have the mindset of the greatest guru. You ascended, you fly, you don't even walk anymore. It's not needed for you. But the reason you fly is because you can't afford a car, because you don't have the skill set or practical application. And of course, the same is for effort. So that would be my one very basic practical thing. Look at your life. Why are the results close to zero? Which one can you change to improve?
That's great. I love that formula. And what is the other one? You said there were 2 you'd like to talk about.
So the second one, so Jack, one of the books that you've written, of course, is The Law of Attraction, and I love it. And I could tell you the first book I read in America was Your Chicken Soup for the Soul. It was in the library because I couldn't afford it. But when I read it, this very law of gratitude, I believe, is what was the shift, because I was just grateful. I just felt this immense gratitude for feeling the spirit with each story and saying, wait a minute, if they can do it, I can do it too. And so it's a very applicable law to me, because without the law of gratitude, there really is very hard access to the law of attraction in the positive way. Because I say, notice what you notice, because what you notice is what you create. So if you're continually noticing lack, and if you are being enabled by that lack, that is what you'll create. So the law of gratitude teaches you to be grateful for everything, for the smallest of things, because as you notice them and you purposefully charge them with the gratitude, more and more things are attracted to you to be grateful for. So if you have to choose one, start with gratitude. Notice what you notice.
That's beautiful. Well, I wish we had more time because there's 35 principles, but people need to get your book. I read it and loved it and think there's a lot of value there. And, I've been teaching this stuff for years. I learned several new things. So thank you for that. If people want to get a copy of your book, if they'd like to learn about your coaching programs that you offer, where do they go? How do they find out about more?
I believe the fastest, easiest way just to go to our website, youtoshine.com. All the information, most current, is always there with any and all offers, gifts, everything.
Okay. And if you're watching this, you see the website on the screen there, and you could just go there and find out more. And I encourage you to do it because these principles literally can help you not just have more abundance in terms of financial wealth, but really more abundance and I think prosper in every area of your life. So thanks very much for joining us today, Victoria. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jack. This has been fantastic.
I'm glad. And thanks to all of you who've tuned in to watch today. And please make sure to tune in again next week. I have another author who's a transformational teacher, an author, a coach, who can help you live a happier, more successful, more prosperous, and more fulfilling life. And until then, make sure to get a copy of Victoria's book, Prosper Me, and start applying these principles as soon as you can. Go to her website, check out her courses. Everyone that takes them reports great success. All right, we'll see you all next week.